Hi everyone, it's me again, Carrie. Today's been quite a busy day. It is Friday the 22nd of April. So, like I said, today's been a really busy day. This morning I went and got one of the city tour buses, the City Sightseeing New York tour, which I didn't actually get a proper chance to see because there wasn't a sign there, but normally these buses are actually made in my hometown, well not hometown, but near my hometown in Falkirk. And accompanied by Alexander's. I didn't actually, normally there's a sign up the front, but I wasn't near enough the front to see it. But I'm just saying it was made in Falkirk, so there we go. So yeah, I went on the downtown route, saw quite a lot of sights. We saw the Empire State Building, partly saw the Statue of Liberty, it's just kind of too far away to see. I could have got the ferry, but I had other things planned for the day. I saw Macy's, Little China, Little Italy, Soho. Where else did I see? I saw quite a lot of stuff. I took lots of photos, so they will be on my Facebook page. Oh, so the Rockefeller Centre, and the NBC Studios, ABC Studios. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there was loads of other things as well. I just can't really think of them off my top of my head. But the main objective of this morning and this afternoon was to get the bus and go down to Ground Zero, to the One World Trade Centre. I really wanted to go see the 9/11 Memorial Museum and the memorials themselves. So I managed to get the bus down there. I had to walk a little bit to go to it, but it was fine. So I managed to get a ticket to go into the 9/11 Memorial Museum. This museum is breathtaking. I mean, the actual building itself is stunning, but the way they've presented all the kind of information that they have, the exhibits that they have, is just stunning. The museum itself has this sort of eerie feeling, completely silent. Everybody's whispering, nobody's really talking as such. I mean, there's loads of little kids, there's a couple of little kids, not many, but there's some, but even they were quiet, which I found quite kind of provoking. I'm just going to say it took my words away. I was left speechless the whole entire time there, and anybody who knows me knows that's hard to do. But it is just, yeah. If you're in New York, go to the museum. It doesn't cost that much to get in. I think it's a really reasonable price for what it is. The way they've kept the kind of evidence and the artifacts from it. They had what they call the survivor stairs that they transported from one of the other buildings to the museum itself, which is actually in the grounds as well. But they've got all the kind of foundation blocks there. They've even got one of the stores nearby that kept one part of the store exactly the way it was on 9/11. This store lost its business and got shut down, but they donated that part of the shop to the museum, and it's left exactly the way it is. They've got the bikes that was left outside that nobody claimed, and they don't know where the owners are in the museum. It's just things like that, the fire trucks, the ambulances, the police cars, the shoes, the little things like shoes and glasses that were found. Just, I took some photos. There's some places you weren't allowed to take photos. You weren't allowed to take photos in the memorial room, which had all the photos of those that were lost in 9/11. And what I found really touching was for those that didn't want, like families didn't want to provide photos, or there was no photos to provide, they had a leaf. They said what type of leaf it was, I couldn't honestly remember, but that was to represent those that were lost, those that were murdered, as they said, in 9/11. But yeah, And then anybody's name that was mentioned who was killed in 9/11 had the leaf next to their name on the plaques, where it was like talking about their story or talking about what they did or what they were doing at the time. But yeah, the bit that got me was some of the bits they had from the planes that struck 9/11 and that went, I think the Pentagon one and the one that went in the field, mainly the one that went in the field, there was, and the planes that hit the towers as well, there's a couple of kids on them, and when you went for the museum there was things like teddy bears, earmuffs, library cards, stuff like that, then clothes that were found from the kids that were just lying about, and you're like, I mean, one of the youngest ones that died was 2, and it just, I think because 9/11 hit like the World Trade Center, you just think mainly of the adults, but then you realise that there was kids involved as well. But yeah, so if you ever get a chance, go. You won't forget it. I was crying at times, but that could be because I'm an emotional person. But yeah, you need to go. And then I went to the fountain memorials that they have on both the sides of the North and South Tower, which is just a stunning memorial. It's like a, well, kind of like a water fountain, but it's a waterfall. It goes into the ground, and there's like 2 levels to it, or what you can see, there's 2 levels, but it's huge because obviously it covers the full size of what the tower's ground floor was, and then it has all the names of those that had died. And I've seen it online before, I actually got to see it in person. There were some flowers left in some people's names. Now I don't know if that means that it was like an anniversary of theirs, or they're like meant to be their birthday or something like that, or something along those lines, but even just that, you need to go. If you're there, you need to go. So yeah, after that I went back on the bus, did the rest of the tour, and then came back to my hotel room, got ready for the night, because at night I went to go and see, tickets in my bag, I'll leave my ticket. I went to go see Tuck Everlasting. I've been wanting to see this for quite a while. I saw some of the clips when it was off Broadway, in the kind of preview stage when it was like just testing out whether or not it would work, because it was quite a while ago, and I remember that they couldn't find a theatre or something like that when they were in off Broadway, but then they eventually so they had to stop it for a while, and then they found a venue, and it went really well. But it was about probably like a good 6 months to a year after they did like the first kind of regional production of it, before they found out that it was going to Broadway, which is quite a long period. Normally they find out pretty soon, or at least from what I've seen. But I was glad that it came to Broadway. So this was at the Broadhurst Theatre. It's quite a small theatre. So was yesterday's one actually. That's one thing I've expected. I expected the theatres would be bigger, but I guess the area is quite, I don't know, but they're smaller than what I'm used to. Probably the size of like the King's Theatre back home, if not slightly smaller. But yeah, it was beautiful, beautiful theatre. They had these gorgeous chandeliers hanging from the ceilings, which are just like, oh, stunning. Seats were really comfy as well. Always a good point in my view. The stage was gorgeous. If this show doesn't win the Scenery Award at the Tony Awards, or doesn't even get nominated for it, there's something wrong with the judges. The scenery is amazing. They have this tree made out of kind of like planks of wood, which have been carved, so that the actors can like stand in them, but it's gorgeous. If you haven't seen photos, you need to see the photos. I've got a couple on my Facebook page. But yeah, and then they had like revolving stage, the different scenery. They had like this kind of mechanism where things kind of flew onto the stage, like during scene changes. There was like the grandma on the rocking chair, just kind of flew in on it, and the frog that kind of bounced off it. So yeah, if you don't know the story Tuck of Life Everlasting, it is a novel and it was a movie. I think the movie was done by Disney, believe it or not. I'm sure it was. I know you can see it on demand on Sky, because I've downloaded it a couple of times to watch. But it's basically about this family that find this spring of water that has this magical power where you can have everlasting life. You don't age, you never die. If you get injured, you're not hurt. You can't get illnesses. And Winnie, and they're called the Tucks. And Winnie Foster is this little girl whose father died a year ago, and her mum doesn't let her out of the house. She's kept inside. She doesn't have any friends. She doesn't go out and about and do stuff. She's really sheltered. And one day she decides to run away from home and go into the forest, and that's where she meets Jessie Tuck. And she finds out that they've got this special power because of the water, and wants to do it herself. But then, obviously, like all good stories, there's a bad guy who wants the water for himself and finds out where it is. I'm not going to go into any more detail because I don't want to do any spoilers, but that's the gist of the musical. There's stuff that happens later on, but I'm not going to go into that. So yeah, it was amazing. The dancing. Anyone knows me knows I'm a sucker for dancing. The choreography was amazing. They incorporated, I'm going to call it tap, but it wasn't really tap. If anything, it was a bit like clogging. Sounds really odd, but that was kind of what it was. They were more kind of like stamping on certain beats to emphasise the rhythm of the music. It was kind of, if anybody's seen Newsies, I know I'm going to talk about Newsies. If anybody's seen Newsies, they incorporate the kind of tap dancing and foot noises to the music, and that's what this did. So it's part of it, kind of part of the storytelling as well. But it was just beautiful. The dancers that they have are really good. They have Ben Cook, who was on Newsies. I saw him over the summer. When I saw him, he was playing Crutchy, but he normally played one of the ensemble cast. He played Race, but I saw him as Crutchy, and then he was one of the ensemble members. He is a fantastic dancer. I mean, I'm going to go dancing now, but the length he has in his legs and the lines he produces, his split leaps are amazing. I would compare them to almost Ryan Steele's. But yeah. So the cast, we had Andrew Keenan Bolger as Jessie Tuck. I've been wanting to say AKB for ages. I've been following his blogs. I've been following him since he was in Newsies and some of the stuff that he's been in before. I've seen all the vlogs that he's done on his YouTube page, online. He's just amazing, and he's so sweet. I met him at the stage door, got a photo with him, which I'm so happy about. He's such a sweet guy, and the character he plays is so well suited to him. Although he is like a 30-year-old playing a 17-year-old, but it's Broadway, that happens quite a bit. But he just plays the character so well. So I've seen the movie and I prefer his version of it. I don't know if it's because he's originating the character, but he just seems to have more soul in it. He has more the kind of passion behind the character, and it seems like a character that really suits him. So who else did we have? We have Carolee playing. Who did she play again? She played Me Tuck. Right. She is amazing. Her voice is really good. To me, although her voice is really good, to me there was a bit too much vibrato in her voice. I'm not all that keen on vibrato. I know some people are, but I think it's probably more to do with the character itself, because she's playing a kind of motherly character who's meant to be slightly older, and because although the whole kind of aging process, I don't know if they're going to be going for that as well, but she was really good. Her acting's really good as well. She played the role brilliantly. We had Robert Lindsay playing Miles Tuck. Oh my gosh, he is adorable. He is really good. He had this song, I think it was Act 2. It was Act 1. Sure it was Act 2. Yeah, Act 2, called Time. It made me cry. It was basically him saying that living forever isn't always a good idea. Time moves on even though you're the same age, which means people move on. Things change constantly, which I found really thought-provoking. Like, that song goes into too much depth for me, or in a good way. That's what I like about songs. I like songs that make me think, and yeah, it does make me get emotional then, but it's just the whole kind of thinking, going, yeah, you're actually right. Would living forever be a good thing? Because you might not, you'll see so many things changing and you don't maybe want to see them changing the way they do, but at the same time you want to live forever to, as he said, because you're afraid to die. But he says that dying is part of living, which I think, with me, with my background in nursing and everything I've gone through, that's my view on life. It's like, it's the whole, everything's part of the process. I'm like tearing up here now. But yeah, let's move on. Blah, blah. Angus Tuck, we had Michael Park. He played this character down to the T. He was like the father figure. Well, he was the dad of the Tuck family. He was like a very changeable character. One minute could be like the grumpy old dad in the corner. Next he'd be the fun dad going out fishing and being all excited about the new adventures. He's actually a really good dancer. Considering his age, he's a really good dancer. Winnie. Oh, Sarah Charles Lewis. I don't know how old she is. She looks maybe 12, 13, possibly 14. Her voice, she is going to go far in life. The notes that she's pulling off, the power in her voice. She's a belter. And she's so pretty as well, and she was lovely at stage door. Got a photo of her, and she's really good at dancing as well, and she played the character so well. She knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't seem to be afraid of anything, and she was really professional as well. With a kid that your age, like, you never really know what you're gonna get, but she played it so well. And yeah, so that was kind of the main cast. There was other ones as well. I have to give a shout out to the man in the yellow suit. He was like in the evil character, but they had this whole song, where it was the constable and the newly trained deputy, or who was trying to be the deputy, had the songs about never trusting a man in a yellow suit, or somebody that had the bad handshake, and it was like the comedy song, which you, like in a story like this you kind of need, but there's loads of comedy throughout it, and it wasn't like the kind of normal, it was like really good comedy. It wasn't like proper slapstick, it was like a belly laugh. It was really funny. Even just the little lines here and there. So yeah. So I went to stage door, got their autographs. I think that was pretty much all. Oh, the one thing I did want to say. Now, I've noticed this in the kind of New York theatres, that you can't get bottles of juice. You can get bottles of water, but you can't get bottles of juice, and you're not allowed to bring anything in. So, I was really thirsty when I went in, so I went up and asked for a Diet Pepsi and got given this. It's like a, now I've seen them before. They had them in School of Rock yesterday, and I thought they were like the disposable ones, but they're kind of like the hologram ones, and they're like a travel mug. So I was like, yeah, it was. For a Coke it was expensive, but I think because you get to keep the bottle, it was okay. It cost me $10, but it was also refillable. So it probably works out pretty well. And then you get a nice souvenir as well. I also bought a t-shirt because, as everybody knows, t-shirts are my things. So, bear with me a moment. So I got this one, which I thought was really cute. They had like loads that had the kind of slogan on it, "If you could live forever, would you?" Which I think is a question that everybody always has at some point in their life. And then you get a wee bag that also has like the Tuck Everlasting slogan and an infinity sign on it, which I'm going to keep. So yeah, so that's been tonight. Everything was really nice at Stage Door. I had a chat with some of the guys, especially like I had a good chat with Andrew Keenan Bolger and Ben as well. Mainly because I've seen Ben before and I wanted to like see how he was doing. But he actually remembered me from Austin, so that was quite nice. Got slightly starstruck, but that's just I like my Broadway stars. So yeah, that's been today. So tomorrow is a really busy day for me. I have so far 2 things booked, well 2 things planned at least, and then I'm going to try and plan something for tomorrow night. So in the morning I am doing one of the walking tours of New York. It is the behind the magic, behind the scenes of Disney on Broadway, which I am really excited